down, 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 down. And then I heard like one woman scream.
A frightening scene as students and faculty flee the school and police move in.
A gunman came into the college and fired multiple shots.
Tonight, at least 7 people killed, more injured, and a suspect in custody.
They put him in cuffs, put him in the car, and then they went over there. And that's when I started seeing them drag bodies out.
Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
I'm Alan Martin. Let's get right to the latest developments out of Oakland tonight. Gunfire erupted mid-morning at Oikos University, a small Christian school near the Oakland airport.
7 people died and 3 more were wounded when the shooter sprayed a classroom with bullets. As survivors ran for cover, heavily armed SWAT teams moved in and other officers began the grim task of bringing out the dead.
We have live team coverage on the developing story. We begin with Mark Sayre, who was first on the scene this morning. Mark?
Well, Alan, a very tragic and a very terrifying day here in Oakland as police remain on the scene at this hour, processing evidence. It was a full tactical response from Oakland police as officers surrounded the Oikos University on Edgewater Drive. The calls for help came into 911 just before 10:30 this morning, and for several hours, police still did not know exactly what they were dealing with.
A gunman came into the college and fired multiple shots. We do have fatalities.
As police tried to determine if the suspected shooter was still inside the building or if perhaps there was more than one shooter, police evacuated groups of students who ran out of the building under police escort. At one point, police could be seen breaking the front window of the building with a battering ram, and after at least some of the dead were brought out, police secured the building to the point where medical crews could get close enough to bring out the wounded on stretchers.
And then we heard like 3 shots.
Minor Williams works nearby. I think those shots were fired by the police or from inside the building?
I think it was inside the building. Yeah. They went over there, and that's when I started seeing them drag bodies out. So
how many have you seen come out?
Well, it was about 5.
You've seen like 5
yeah,
come out?
about 5, yeah.
For several hours, police and SWAT team members searched the building as nearby office workers were told to stay inside.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, terror. I mean, there was this fear and concern for people who look like they're injured.
Rick Wagoner says the whole scene was just very sad.
I just see some carrying some bodies out of the building. That's all. They carried a body out and then they put a blanket over them. And they carried a bunch of other bodies out, and you couldn't tell if they were alive or not.
Late this afternoon, the Alameda County Coroner's Office was at the university covering the bodies of multiple victims and processing the scene.
Alan, what's really amazing about these types of stories are what emerges, and we've just heard one of what a husband is calling his wife a hero. She's a nursing student there, and when she heard that first shot, she turned the lights off and then locked the classroom door. That move may have saved her fellow students because the gunman actually knocked on the door, shot at it, but did not get inside. So tonight, even though there are a lot of questions remaining, the one thing that is clear is that for dozens, this was a terrifying day. What started as an ordinary day for students at Oikos University in Oakland erupted into an extraordinary scene of violence. Some inside were too shaken to speak.
Oh, God. Oh, God. So much.
English teacher Lucas Garcia was inside during the shooting.
Scary. I mean, we didn't know what was happening, and that was the scary part.
Inside Garcia's class was Deborah Lee, a student from China.
I was like, what is it? I thought someone is joking because I never been through this kind of situation.
And they ran for their lives.
During our class, so I heard a gunshot sound, gunshots, like 5 or 6, dong, 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 like that. And after that, one woman screamed, and then my teacher, he went outside and then checked, and then he heard like, oh, like somebody has a gun, run.
Students at the school say the police were on scene quickly.
Our SWAT team did clear the building. When they went in, they did discover additional victims, at which time they were rescued from the building and received medical attention.
Highland Hospital says at least 5 people from the scene were rushed in, clearly under duress when they arrived. A lifetime of repercussions for a crime that only took a few moments.
Yeah, it was fast. It was just a few seconds.
Not even 1 minute or 2 minutes, like happens really quick.
We're learning more now about the school. Founded in 2004, Oikos University is a small nonprofit Christian college. It offers courses in theology, music, nursing, and Asian medicine. The school is affiliated with Oakland's Praise God Korean Church and Shepherd University of San Francisco. And less than an hour after the shooting, the suspected gunman gave himself up in the parking lot of Alameda's South Shore Center. The Oakland Tribune reports the man told staffers at Safeway he had shot people and needed to be arrested. Joe Vasquez continues our team coverage from Oakland, where we're learning more about the shooting suspect. Joe?
In fact, a short while ago, the Korean consulate confirmed to CBS 5 the gunman's name. It is Won Ko. He's a resident of Oakland, as is his father. Early this afternoon at a nursing home in Oakland, police visited with young Nam Ko. He is the suspected gunman, Won Ko's father. Officers escorted the elderly Ko from his room for further questioning. According to nursing home staffers, the suspected gunman's brother died last year in a traffic accident, and that Won Ko came here often to comfort his father.
He's a very nice guy. Always was here to, support his family, support his parents.
The gunman was arrested at this shopping center in Alameda. Witnesses say he was nervous and babbling.
He didn't even look that tall. He was maybe about 5'9". Had his beanie. He looked like he was cooperating with the police. He looked a little bit, I thought maybe he could have been under the influence, shoplifting, because he was a little sedated. He was just standing there.
Employees at Safeway are telling reporters the man walked up to the counter and announced that he had shot someone. Alameda police rushed to the scene and put the man in cuffs.
7 dead, 3 wounded, 1 gunman with a history of financial trouble.
Also tonight, a hero who stopped a terrible situation from becoming worse, how her quick thinking saved lives. Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida.
And I'm Dana King. A small Christian university in Oakland, it teaches the Bible and nursing. Tonight, it is the site of the worst campus massacre in California history.
The horror started about 10:30 this morning. Police got a call of a woman bleeding at Oikos University on Edgewater Drive. That is off Hagenberger, not too far from the Oakland airport.
Within 3 minutes of that call, the first officers arrived to what they say was total chaos. They set up a perimeter and realized someone had locked the doors to the building, so they used a battering ram to get in.
Inside, only described as a bloodbath. 10 people shot, 5 dead at the scene. 2 more died later at the hospital, 3 people wounded. Police didn't know if the gunman was still inside or if there was more than one. People ran from the building, fearing for their lives. But tonight, police tell us they quickly had a good idea of who the gunman was, probably from witness accounts. And once they realized he wasn't inside, they put in motion a massive manhunt.
About 45 minutes after shots were fired, a man at a Safeway at the South Shore Plaza shopping center in Alameda asked to speak with police, saying he had shot people. Officers arrived, determined he was the suspected shooter, and arrested him.
Also tonight, police confirmed the suspect's identity as 43-year-old Won Go, a former student at the university, which caters mostly to Korean students. His last known residence is Oakland.
Well, it's just another sad day in my city whenever there's a loss of life.
It's a kind of pain and situation that we won't understand totally immediately, but that will leave the community asking questions for a long time.
Oakland's police chief says that it will take a few days to put the pieces together, but tonight we have some new information. Robert Lyles on who that suspect is and why he may have done this, what was his motive, and also we want to go to Highland Hospital and Elizabeth Cook with the story of a brave woman who probably saved many lives with her quick thinking. Elizabeth.
Well, Ken, all the people who were shot were brought here to Highland Hospital in Oakland. And as we are still learning more about the victims, CBS 5 has just obtained this cell phone video from a witness at the scene. He was able to capture a woman who was shot in the arm. Officers were looking to help her get to the hospital.
She's out of it. She don't know this. She don't know whether to scream, yell, or ask for help. She was just shocked because she had got out that building alive. She ran through out the front door, hid in some bushes. So You know, I told old girl, you know, she's lucky. You know, you're lucky.
And it looks like the casualty count could have been much worse had it not been for a brave young woman who is credited for saving the lives of her fellow students and a teacher.
Even the door ringing bell of the door makes me nervous.
Surrounded by her family and friends, Dichin Wangzom is still visibly shaken.
It's so hard to remember that scene that we have saw today. It's like unforgettable, you know.
She had just finished taking a test in her nursing school class when she heard this.
It's like, you know, sometimes we hear the firework, it's going boom, boom, you know, something like that. 3 or 4 times I hear that.
8 other students and the teacher were frozen with fear. Dichin sprung into action. As the gunman was firing just feet from the classroom, she closed the door and locked it.
If I didn't lock the door, I think we might be dead today.
She turned off the lights and told the class to keep quiet as the gunman came to the door and fired shots to try to get in.
We were just praying for the God just to save us today.
Dichin's class waited in silence for 30 minutes. She painfully listened as one of the victims, a receptionist, cried out for help.
I just hear her noise, you know, she was asking for help again and again. Like, there was nothing we could do about that thing.
Police credit her for saving the lives of her classmates, but it's hard for her to call herself a hero.
Just told my instinct to help myself.
7 people, you know, they are no more here. They are all innocent without any of their fault. So I don't know what to say. But yeah, in my eye, of course, she's the hero.
Oakland's police chief says that it is so bloody inside tiny Oikos University that it is still a crime scene after more than 10 hours. And in the distance, you still see that crime scene investigators are here sifting through all of that evidence inside. The man accused of this day of devastation is behind bars, but he is not under arrest. We are told by police tonight that is because in addition to 7 murders, they're still trying to figure out what else to charge him with.
Officers found several victims throughout the classroom, throughout the building. There were several people hiding in locked buildings, locked doors, behind desks. As you can imagine, very frightened, very scared.
The accused shooter is 43-year-old Won Go, a Korean national that police say has no criminal past. And at this hour,
we do not have a motive for this shooting.
No known motive, but we do know Go was a licensed vocational nursing student who disappeared from class a few months ago, only to reappear around 10:30 this morning with what sources tell CBS 5 was a .45 caliber handgun.
He was in the classroom when he stood up and began shooting at the victims.
5 students never made it out alive.
Some of them were injured, so we had to rescue them out. We had to force our way into a number of rooms because they were locked behind doors.
While OPD frantically searched the university for the alleged shooter, Go was actually 3 miles away outside this Safeway in Alameda. Witnesses described him as disoriented.
Because he was a little sedated. He was just standing there.
So how did the accused lone gunman get there?
He actually commandeered a victim's car and drove it to Alameda.
CBS 5 has identified the owner of that car as Shirin Rinzing, an SFO janitor by night and nursing student by day. Rinzing lived at this San Francisco residential hotel, well liked by his neighbors. Rinzing has not been seen in 24 hours. Staff at the Westlake Terrace say Go visited his father often following the death of his younger brother, a 31-year-old Army sergeant killed 1 year ago after striking this boulder head-on in Virginia. Now, CBS 5 did some digging tonight and found that Won Go is deeply in debt. Get this, I'm going to read this off. Starting in 2006, there is a civil judgment by a bank for more than $10,000. And in 2006, there were 2 IRS liens, each of them nearly $14,000. There was another IRS lien in 2009 for nearly $10,000 at this same apartment complex, or I should say, the same apartment complex sued the accused gunmen both in 2008 and 2009. There was another civil judgment in 2011 by Capital One Bank. Now, OPD is telling us at this hour they have yet to officially interview Go, and that is why he is not under arrest. and they have not pursued charges.